Hey, what's happening? Oxford here, back with another tutorial video. In this video, we're going to be showing you how to install the Ultrawide mod for Sekiro Shadows Die Twice on PC. There's a few steps, and I want to make sure that we break these down. One of the steps is actually optional, but I'm still going to treat it as a step just in case you're one of those that want to implement one of the processes to basically get the full effect of 21:9 or 21:10 or whatever aspect ratio you're running on your monitor. Before we get into the video, if at any point during this video you found it helpful, please hit that like button and consider subscribing if you dig the energy here. I do stream on this channel here on YouTube every single day except for Monday. I hope to see you in my streams. Okay, let's go ahead and get into this. So if you look off to the right, you're going to see that I broke this down into 3 folders. You can follow along and do the same if you want to do that. It's completely optional. When I did that, I found it was so much easier to break down each little step, no matter how small the steps are. It's just nice to put these mods in separate folders and label them by steps. So step 1, I'm going to go ahead and bring this into frame. The first thing you're going to download, you're going to head over to the Nexus mod sites, and I will have the links in the description box below, so don't sweat it. I'll put it down. I'll even label it like steps, just like I'm explaining here in the video. You're going to come over to this link first. This one's called the Sekiro mod engine. Go ahead and scroll down to the files tab, and if you are a supporter of Nexus mods, you're going to click on manual download and then on the fast download, right? If you're not a paying member of Nexus mods, click on slow download. Make sure you're logged into the site and download this zip. And then once you download this zip, you're going to go ahead and place it in your step 1 folder, which I've done here. All right, so what it looks like is this mod engine, yada, 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 a bunch of numbers. Extract that. Then you have a folder called mod engine hyphen whatever version you're getting this, downloading it at. As of today, it's 0.1.16. You're going to open this up. There's going to be a few files and a README. You can read the README if you choose to do so, or keep following along in this video, because really simply, all you're going to do is grab and highlight these two and Control C or Control X, your choice. I just can copy it out instead of cut it out. You're going to copy these two and throw it in the Sekiro directory. So where exactly is that? The easiest way to get there, guys, is if you go into Steam, you right click Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, go to Properties, go over to the left section, the west quadrant of that window where it says Local Files. Top right corner it says Browse. Click on Browse, and then boom, you're going to have the directory of where Sekiro lives at within Steam, that is. Okay, so remember, step 1, grab these two, the D-input 8 and mod engine, looks like a DLL file. You're going to grab these and you're going to simply just paste them in the directory. So I have it here as well. I have the D-input 8 here, the mod engine configuration setting file right there. So that's really you have to do for step 1. Step 2, let's go ahead and go back to step 2 here. We have this folder. Next up, you're going to download the aspect ratio 21:9 UI fix. Now this is the optional piece. If any of you don't like where the user interface is still in the 16:9, this step is for you. So what this mod does is it puts everything out in the far corners of your ultrawide monitor. So let me go ahead and bring in the second window here, and this one is going to be called Ultrawide UI Fixes on Nexus Mods. So you're going to go and scroll down to the Files tab, and then you're going to have several options here. Let's stick to the very top one, the very main download, the main file. Click on Manual Download that file. Let me go ahead and minimize this and show you what it looks like. In the step 2 folder, you're going to see it's called aspect ratio 21:9. Go ahead and extract that. The folder looks like this. Now, here's the thing. It's a folder within a folder, and then there's like a whole bunch of files. The only thing that you need to know is that once you extract it, what lives in here is the menu folder. Don't pay too much attention of what's in here. I'll tell you why. All you're really concerned about is dragging this folder and into the mods folder that you probably haven't created just yet. So what do? We're going to go back to the Sekiro directory, scroll up to the top, right click anywhere, click on new, and then new folder. Name that folder mods, M-O-D-S, all lowercase, and I'll do a control zoom so you can see exactly what I'm talking about for you guys. Right there, boom, mods. Go ahead and create that folder. Then your next step is to copy the menu folder from that mod you just downloaded, the UI fix mod. Double click on the mods folder you just created and simply just paste it in there. Now again, I'll zoom in to show you exactly what I've done. So far, and pay no attention to param and parts. That's not what we're discussing today. Instead, pay attention to the menu folder. That's for the UI fix, okay? Now, moving on to step 3, let me go ahead and back up here. Step 3 is this awesome tool called Sekiro FPS Unlock and More. Let me go ahead and bring in the Nexus mods page. This is called Sekiro FPS Unlock and More. Go ahead and scroll down. You know the drill. Go to the Files tab, and then you're going to click on the manual download at the very top with the latest, which this one happened to be released on November 3rd, 2020. So it's been, a couple years as of this recording. Go ahead and click on menu download that. Once you get that downloaded, it literally is this executable. Now, what does that look like? It looks like this. Let me go ahead and bring it into frame. It looks like this right here. So it's very simple. Now, this is something you're going to be running in the background while you run the game. That is a very key point. You need to run this while you're running the game or it won't work. What did I do for my setup? Now, I can run my monitor higher than 120, but for HDR to take effect, it's best to stick at 120 for the screen that I have. So whatever your hertz is, make sure you match that hertz, 144, 165. Go ahead and do that. Make sure the box is checked where it says frame rate lock. Next up, you're going to add a custom resolution. For my resolution here, it's 3840 by 1600. So go ahead and add your resolution in these boxes here. This is optional, the change FOV. I actually have mine at the 25%. That seems like a pretty good sweet spot for this game. Default, I feel the characters a little bit too close, as most of these games are these days. Again, play around with that. Scroll down a little bit further. These are completely optional here, guys. The automatically loot enemies and all that stuff. That has no regard to this video for ultra wide. But take a look at all this stuff. It's pretty neat stuff. Back up to the ultra wide specific checkboxes here. You have borderless window and then full screen stretch. Now, I'm willing to bet that when you first boot this up, these two boxes are most likely going to be unchecked. So let's go ahead and pretend like this is a brand new setup. I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to do this along with you. Let's minimize these windows here. I'm going to go ahead and boot up SEKIRO right now, and then you're going to see what happens, because I have tested this out, and it seems like every time that you turn off the game and then you boot it back up, you have to go back in and recheck borderless windowed, and in some cases even full screen stretch. Sometimes you don't have to do that, but just so you know, it doesn't stay. These two boxes right here, they don't always stay. At least they don't for me. So when I shut the game down and I go back, I have to basically recheck these again. So just a friendly heads up in case that happens to you. Let's go ahead and boot up SEKIRO and just kind of see exactly what happens now that I'm doing this recording and see how it responds. So it is doing exactly what it was doing before I hit record. Through the game into windowed mode. And if you're in full screen mode, exclusive full screen, make sure that you go into the SEKIRO options and set it to windowed mode, not full screen. Just a heads up there. I forgot to mention that earlier. Let's go ahead and keep it here. Now, what you're going to do is open up this window here. Now, remember before where I had you click the add custom resolution and you put your resolution in? Now, let's go ahead and press any button, and let's go ahead and go to the options within the game after it does its checks. Okay, let's go ahead and go to settings. Now, we're going to go to the graphics option. Make sure it's set on windowed like I mentioned before, and then go to screen resolution. You should have the resolution you just created for your monitor. In my case, it's 3840 by 1600. So let's go ahead and select that resolution. Hit yes. Okay, now that that's done, go ahead and move your mouse cursor over to borderless window and check that box. Now you're going to see it looks kind of weird, right? Your next step is to select full screen stretch, and now it'll be in ultra wide mode, and you will have the menus in 16:9, but whenever you back out of these windows, you'll see already the online app version 1.06 in the bottom right corner. You'll also see the loading on the top right corner. Let's go ahead and boot up into the game, and I'm going to show you what it looks like in ultra wide. And already you can tell the user interface, because of step 2, everything is shoved to the corners, and then now we have our FOV pulled out, and then this is what the game looks like in ultra wide. So it looks exactly like how it should, and it runs pretty good, runs pretty smooth, looks amazing, and that's it. Whenever you shut down the game, you got to redo the borderless windowed and full screen stretch, again, once you boot up the game, unfortunately. But this right here is the way to get, full screened or borderless windowed ultra wide mode activated in SEKIRO. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, drop a comment. I'm very active in my comment section, so I'll do my very, very best to help you out. And again, on your way out, do me a favor, drop a like and consider subbing. I do stream here on the channel every single day but Mondays. I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.